How can there be true worship and free worship if we're so focused on what we look like? When Yahweh took man and he placed him in the garden with a purpose to do something, after that he set a system. That's the law. That's the command. Listen, you can eat of every tree freely except the tree of good and evil you shall not eat. For in that day you eat of it, you shall surely die. We're living the life according to his system and according to the rule that he set, and we're doing what he said to do. But now we get to a place where somebody decides to tell us different. And somebody says, this ain't not what he said. You ever been by yourself contemplating whether or not you should do something that you know you shouldn't be doing? Huh? And then you find that you're making all the excuses to justify why you should be doing it. That's the serpent telling you, listen, you're not going to die. I don't know what your tree is, but we've all got a tree. And that tree we're not supposed to touch. We're not supposed to eat of it. So identify what your tree is, and it's time to turn away from it and say, listen, I'm not going to touch this thing. That tree can keep you away from your destiny. That tree can destroy you before you fulfill your purpose. That tree can mess everything up, not just for you, but for everybody else attached to you. It is in the midst of the garden where somebody is standing right now, and he's offering you a tree that is desirable, that Yah said not to touch or not to eat from. What you do and how you react in the midst of this garden is going to dictate your life. It's going to decide whether you're going to be blessed for the rest of your life, or you're going to be cursed. Don't you let no devil step inside the garden where you've been put to do something, and tell you that you should be doing something that God told you shouldn't do. When you're standing in the garden, he has provided everything that you need. All your needs have been supplied in the midst of the garden, and you gonna let some dirty devil, some dirty snake who've been crawling around come and tell you that you should be eating from a fruit that he told you not to. You gotta know your father. You got to know your daddy. You gotta know what he told you from what he didn't tell you. So when the enemy comes in and he tries to tell you this is what you should be doing, you can stand up, Byron, and you can say, no, I'm not gonna give up on y'all, because I know even in this moment he's gonna provide a way for me to escape you. Because man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes out of the mouth of my Father. You might be trying to tempt me, but understand that I know my Father. We don't gotta have no more Eves. Hello? We don't gotta have no more of this. We've got to learn from mistakes that happened before and understand when he says, look, all you gotta do is eat from this thing. It looks desirable to the eyes, but understand that not everything that looks good to you is good for you. I don't care who tries to justify it.
That's right.
Huh? I don't care what authority says this is all right. I don't care what friend says this is okay. I don't care who you love say, look, just this one time it's okay. I don't care if people been trying to love on you so much that it's made you go astray. Understand that it is the word of Yahweh that matters above all. He is priority, and his word takes precedence over everything else. She also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Yahweh's gonna get to the bottom of this.
Yes.
Then the eyes of both of them were opened.
No.
Listen, before this happened, what they shouldn't have been seeing, they weren't seeing. after this, the eyes of both of them were opened. And they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves coverings. I gotta start taking leaves now, start sewing it, start covering myself up. It was never meant to be that way. No. See, what settled in was pride. We're so focused on what we look like. Started covering themselves. Then Yahweh called to Adam. And he says to him, where are you? So he says, I hear your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself. And it brings me to my topic. Who told you you were naked? You now have your eyes open because you decided to touch and eat of something that I told you not to. And now pride has set in because you went against my will and you broke my law.
Yes, sir.
Pride has set in. Now you're ashamed. And so what it does, it creates a generation of timid worshipers and timid praisers and people that are afraid to walk into the originality of their calling, because look, I see that it has to look a certain way in order for people to cheer me on. I see that it's got to sound a certain way in order for it to be right in the eyes of the church.
Yes.
I realize that unless I'm a praise and worship leader, or I'm a minister, or I'm an elder, I'm not important. I don't care what you do for him. Do it for him and for him only. I don't care if you sweep the church. I don't care if you're hanging up jackets. I don't care if you're wiping the counter. I don't care if you're washing dishes. I don't care if you're scraping off the toilet. Whatever you do, do it as unto him. There's a trend that's happening where everybody's dressing a certain way. And everybody's looking a certain way. So if I don't fit into that trend, I can't go amongst them. What you've done is you've realized your nakedness.
Yes.
We're focused on the wrong appearance. We're focused on our appearance instead of his appearance.
Yes.
He can't appear until we disappear.
Yes.
What did he say? He said, listen, decrease so that I might increase.
Yes.
This is the only way it works according to his system. He still has a system. He still has a rule. He still has a law. And the way that church has set it up is off. Here's my worship. Take joy in it. Make it your dwelling place. I want to put a smile on your face.
Yes.
The only way I can do that is with true worship.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
I'm going to dare everybody, stop worrying about what people think about you.
Oh, yes.
Stop worrying about what you look like. Stop worrying about how you speak.
Yes.
Stop worrying about what your hair look like, what your shoes look like, what your clothes look like, and just come with a naked worship. Come with a worship without care of what people think about me. I have a history of being a quiet person. I have a history of being somebody that sits in my seat. God didn't call you to do that. Sometimes you feel like getting up and running. Sometimes you feel like shouting. Do it because your deliverance is in what you do out of the norm. That was his first question to Adam, though. He says, but wait, who told you you were naked? Who told you you were naked? Who told you you were naked? And so he starts to get to the bottom of this. You see, because everything, you can trace it back to somewhere. And what you're going to see is that a lot of fingers are going to start to be pointed. And nobody's going to take ownership. The most recent one. He says, the woman. He never said, look, something came to me that I knew I should have never accepted. He says, the woman you gave to be with me. She gave of the tree and I ate. So maybe because you gave her to be with me. The woman who you gave to me gave me of the tree and I ate. Myself is the last thing I'm going to talk about. First, I'm going to say the woman who you gave.
You gave her. You gave her.
Then I ate. Do you see the order here? So he starts to talk to the woman. And he says, what is it that you have done? Then the woman said, the serpent. Another finger is being pointed by her.
That's right, yeah.
Huh? The woman says the serpent.
Yeah.
Deceived me and I ate. She blames it on the serpent. So he says, look, enough of this. Let me just start handing out these curses real quick. There's no need to go any further. Huh? 2015. No, not 2015. More like 1990s. Because in 2015, they don't get beatings no more, right? 1990s. Let me just start handing out these beatings. I don't need to hear nothing else. Because obviously, nobody's telling me the root of this thing. Everybody's giving me an excuse. Everybody's pointing fingers. So let me start handing out these curses. You had a choice as to whether or not you would heed or you could have walked away because you heeded the voice. You didn't have to do it, but you heeded the voice of the woman. And Adam called his wife's name Eve because she was the mother of all living. Also for Adam and his wife, Yahweh made tunics, skins, clothes them. Here we see a merciful element. If you touch it, or if you eat from it, you shall surely die.
Yeah.
He spares their life. How many times have I went against his will and he still clothed me? Had it not been for his grace, I would have died. I would have lost my life. I would have gave up. I would have committed suicide. I would have lost my mind. But when I decided to see my own nakedness, when I decided to be ashamed, when I decided to be embarrassed, when I decided to be prideful, when I decided not to heed his voice, when I know he was telling me to do something a certain way, but I decided to do it my way in order to please others, how many times did he take me in after he whooped me and decided to clothe me? How many times? How many times? So here you are, and you're standing in the garden. You've been taken, and you've been put with a purpose. There will be adversity. You know what your tree is. You know what it is that he told you not to touch. You know what it is that he told you not to consume. You know exactly what it is. Make up in your mind that the next time the enemy comes and tries to get you to take hold of that thing, you come at him with the word of Yahweh. And that's what we have to understand. It's not our strength. It's not the fact that we got passed on speed dial. It's not the fact that he forgave me yesterday. It's not the fact that I was just reading the word yesterday and I feel a little empowered. Keep getting more of his word in you, because it's the word that's going to cause you to overcome. It's the word of Yahweh that's going to cause you to overcome.